Thanks for tuning in to the Monday PM edition here at Gulf Coast Weather Solutions. I'm filling in for Mr. Lucas this afternoon. If we take a look at what's going on the Tamco Live Doppler radar, we had some isolated showers earlier, but really not much going on. It's been a mostly hot and mostly dry day. You can see some showers have moved offshore. Not much going on in our part of the country, but if we zoom out, you can see lots of showers and thunderstorms going on in San Antonio and into the Austin area down there in central Texas. But you can see lots. I mean, what's that? 400 up to almost 600 lightning strikes just in the last 2 minutes going on in parts of the country. You can see some severe thunderstorm warnings and even tornado watches going on in parts of the plains. But here in our region, it is awfully quiet. Just some isolated showers. A lot more going on into parts of the central Texas region. You can see kind of firing up along that dry line, some big storms going on. They had up to 5 to 8 inches of rain over the weekend in parts of the Austin area and even up there in Dallas as well, too. Thanks to our sponsor of Tamco Hail Guard Beyond Class 4 showing us what's going on the satellite right now. Really just seeing some clouds moving into the region. Now, one thing we saw this afternoon, this is very impressive. This is a rare earthquake, a 6.1 powerful earthquake just west of Cuba. I believe the last earthquake that we've seen that this strong was back in 1959, a 6.4. So it's been quite a while since we've seen a powerful earthquake in the Gulf. Now, one thing that's good about this is we did not see any tsunami out of this, no tsunami watch or warning from this. I have not seen any of the damage or any reports, but that is a powerful earthquake that occurred just west of Cuba in the Gulf. Very powerful and very rare to see that. Thank goodness we didn't see any tsunami out of this. Now, one thing we have been seeing is a very wet pattern since May 18th, May 17th. We've seen some areas up to 15, 20 inches of rain, those isolated spots since May 18th. But look at the last 7 days. Just in the last 7 days, it's been very common to see 3, 4, 5 inches of rain across parts of the region. But these isolated areas that we always talk about that can see heavier amounts, like Beaumont, for example, almost up to 9 to 10 inches of rain just in the last 10 days or last 7 days, I apologize. But you can see it has been pretty wet the last 5 to 7 days, and we're going to be mostly dry this week, but we'll start seeing those rain chances return possibly this weekend. Look how hot it is over there in Amarillo, 101 degrees. This is not the heat index. That's the real temperature. Thanks to our sponsor of Switch Electric, we can see how hot it is getting. Summer is definitely kicking off, and it is here. Denver over there at 58 degrees, but we are pretty hot still at 5:31 p.m. Thanks to our sponsor of Neutron Electrical Services. We've got Conroe still at 90 degrees, but Houston over there at 88, a little bit cooler over here at Beaumont at 82. Down towards the coast, we're into the low to mid 80s. It was a hot day today, and we're going to continue kind of getting hotter the next couple of days. Why is that? That's because this high pressure ridge is building in. Typically, when these build in over you, you're going to be very dry. Now, one thing this will do is kind of allow us to get a little bit warmer, especially the overnight lows. But this is going to be a battle of some moisture versus this high pressure ridge. So the high pressure ridge will make us dry in the mid to upper levels, but our low levels will still have moisture on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So in other words, what this does is means we have small rain potential every day this week. Now, as we get to the end of the week, we will be watching a large amount of deep tropical moisture surging back into the Gulf, into the southern Gulf in the Bay of Campeche. This possibly comes from the Pacific side, and this will bring a lot of moisture and rain potential into Mexico and South Texas this end of the week, getting into the weekend, and this will also bring some of this deeper moisture into our area Saturday and Sunday, especially by the time we get into early next week on Monday. So in other words, we are going to have very low potential for rain the rest of the week, 10 to 20% coverage, but by the time we get to this weekend into early next week, we start getting a little bit better coverage, up to 30 to 40%, thanks to our sponsor of Do Good Credit Union. Futurecast, we're going to see really a quiet night, and it's going to be quiet to start off on Tuesday morning, but it's going to be warm and muggy like we do see this time of year in June. But with the flow coming out of the south, that means with the heat of the day and some moisture, we can still get an isolated shower or a downpour, and by the time we get to around 2 o'clock with the more heat kind of building, could see an isolated storm. Coverage very low, but what we're going to see kind of the rest of the week is something very similar to this. Very small rain potential. A little higher coverage over there towards southwest Louisiana, possibly 20 to 30% coverage. Houston and Beaumont were more so around 10 to 20% coverage. And then once you lose the daytime heating, you lose the storms, and it'll be a quiet Tuesday night. And this is really kind of what we'll be seeing the next at least 3 to 5 days across the region. Overnight tonight is going to be warm and muggy, but that's what we see here in June, mostly into the middle to upper 70s and along the I-10 corridor and down towards the coast. You're going to be near pretty much the 80-degree mark overnight. your air conditioners are going to be working a lot. Thanks to our sponsor of Silsby Ford. Get you one for allowing us to see what's going on in the temperature department. And then tomorrow, again, it's going to be warm, and we're going to be kind of warming up the rest of the week. You're going to see those temperatures mostly into the low 90s, down towards the coast into the low to mid 80s, getting close to the upper 80s. And then think about this. You see the 90s, that means the heat index values are going to be into the triple digits. So definitely stay hydrated this week. It's going to be warming up. Here we are for Southeast Texas the next 5 to 7 days. Rain potential's low now the rest of the week, but once we get into the weekend, that deeper moisture moves back in. So we start seeing the rain potential start moving back in as well too, at least 30 to 40% coverage. A little bit better once we get into Monday because we possibly have a disturbance moving in as well too. Same thing for Southwest Louisiana. You got a little bit better rain opportunity tomorrow on Tuesday, but still we are mostly dry the rest of the week. The rain potential definitely picks up once we get into the weekend into early next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Monday PM edition show. I'll see y'all once again on the Tuesday AM show, but just kind of wrap it up. Tomorrow is going to be another day of hot temperatures, mostly into the upper 80s to low 90s. The heat index values will be into the triple digits and just low potential for rain. If you're looking for any cool down at all from the rain, it's just going to be 10 to 20% coverage from Houston into Beaumont, and a little bit better towards Southwest Louisiana. So y'all have a good Monday evening. Thank again for tuning in to Gulf Coast Weather Solutions. I'll see y'all on Tuesday morning. Have a good Monday evening, everybody.